Hi, I'm Ryan Howsam and this is the Power Of series. The power of operating effectively. You know, I see so many businesses that operate in a slap hazard way. I'm going to show you how to operate your business in a really smart way. Well, it's incredibly important with your business that you have almost a cockpit type of information that you're looking at. Imagine that you're flying a plane, but you don't know what the instruments are and how to read them. This is incredibly important in business, and I see so many business owners getting this completely wrong. Everything from leaving it to an accountant just to tell you whether the business is making money or not and not digging into the financial information, through to how you manage the business and the KPIs to run the business. So there are several areas of management information you need to effectively manage that business to be able to read and understand what's happening. You need to know your profit and loss and balance sheet and cash flow statement. I mean, these are the three key things. Your profit and loss is a profit at a point in time, and it's important to remember this, that, you know, when your accountant tells you you're profitable, you may be profitable, but it doesn't mean you've got cash in the business. You know, profit is a point in time, a snapshot, but it's not where the cash is. Where the cash is king, and you need to really understand that. The cash flow forecast is being able to forecast how much cash you're going to need moving forward, and that's obviously incredibly important. And then the balance sheet is basically looking at your business and whether it's a going concern, it's viable, it's got enough cash to survive, when, you know, how much money is outstanding, etc. So those are your three key things. But don't just rely on your accountant to tell you this. You need to really understand the numbers behind those statements. I have a system called CANI, Constant and Never-Ending Improvement. And what this is really is just taking every area of the business, whatever it is, and making sure that you are constantly improving it. So it's never accepting that where you're up to is good enough. You're always moving it forward. If you set that mindset with everybody of constantly moving forward, that's a big way of operating that will make a big difference. And then the other thing is something called I'm Not Your Job. And this is it's been a really interesting lesson for me, because over time, as a younger man, I used to chase everybody to get their job, to want to make sure that they were doing their job and checking, have they done this, have they done that. And I changed this with a bit of advice that I got from a mentor of mine called Keith Cunningham. And he explained this to me, I'm not your job. And it's very, very simple. It's the employee's job to do their job. It's the employee's job to tell you if they're off track, why they're off track, and what they're going to do about it. Let's say you've got daily KPIs. If something's out of whack, it's up to the person who's responsible for that KPI to say, hey Ryan, this is out of whack, this is what's wrong with it, this is why it's happened, and this is what I'm going to do about it. And if you put that accountability on them to lead and tell you when there's a problem, then if they don't contact you, then there's no problem. Now obviously you've got to get used to this system, but if you can get them to operate like that, you'll make them accountable and you'll be way more effective, so you can run many more people without having to constantly on people's backs. First of all, trusting accountants. Without being rude to accountants, you've got accountants that will help you, small businesses, let's say, and these tend to be accountants who are doing the books. They don't really understand the ins and outs of your business. They will never know the business like you know the business. It's incredibly important that you don't rely on that statement from them. You need really, with your accounts, at worst case, to get your accounts probably, I mean, the way I do it is I've got it by day 7 of the month following for the previous month. That means you're in touch with your P&L and balance sheet and all that stuff really, really closely. But in terms of what does the accountant really know, there's a big difference between a management accountant and an accountant who is doing your annual accounts. I wouldn't actually get your annual accountant to be doing your management accounts. I'd be getting somebody who really understands business to be doing your management accounts. So ideally a management accountant, but that might be a little bit out of your range if you're just starting up. In which case, get to know your numbers, work with your accountant, make sure that they understand what the drivers are, and make sure that they at least help you understand, have you got cash in the business? A lot of people don't understand that people think profit is cash and then they spend it. It's not. Cash is cash and profit is a point in time. And profit only becomes profit when in fact the cash comes in. Well, first of all, managing your team is hard, but getting the right people in the first place is really, really critical. If we think about what does it cost to recruit somebody and then train them, and then a few months down the line they've gone and then you have to start all over again, it's a huge impact on business. So getting them through the door in the right way to start with is important. And I used to go on my gut feel. I'd interview somebody and it would just be a real, I think this person's great. And whilst your gut feeling you need to rely on in business on many occasions, this is one area where I go more than my gut feel for making the decision to hire. And this would be by, first of all, making sure you understand what it is you want them to do and being very, very clear with them about what you want them to do. So this is almost a list of things. I wouldn't be talking about the HR namby-pamby stuff that comes out about job descriptions. I'm talking about the things that this person literally has to do day to day. When you know what those are, then you can recruit against the requirement. So then you can check that they've got the experience to be able to do those things. And then one of the things that I would do when recruiting is to really, really check what it is, or try and find out what it is that they are not good at. If you ask them the question, you can start by asking them what they're great at. And then you can start asking the question about, when I start to reference you with your subordinates or your previous employers, and you need to make out, and this is a good idea to do anyway, you need to reference as much as you can, make them realise that you're going to do this, and say to them this question: when I contact these people and ask them what it is that you are not great at or you would struggle with, what is it? And they will come back, and the amount of times they'll come back with something like this. They'll say, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, or I might push a little bit too hard in some cases, or whatever it is. They'll try and turn it into a positive. What you have to do is dig past that. In other words, ask more and more questions to put them into a corner where you find out what it is they're not good at, because you really do need to know what it is they're not good at. And obviously on the other side, you need to make sure that they are absolutely competent to be able to do exactly what you want them to do. And then the next thing is that do they have the right mindset? I've talked about this on one of the other Power Off series. If you don't get the people in that have got your mindset, that are forward thinking, motivated, positive, can do, will get the job done without you, you're going to be in trouble, because you're going to be constantly on their backs trying to get them to do something. So make sure that you've got self-starters who know how to get from A to B and get the job done without you doing it. So to summarise, the main things: first of all, your team. Make sure you've got the best possible people around you to help you build your business. Constantly and never-endingly improve your business. Every area of it. Don't accept status quo. Really push it and keep going. Make sure you're on top of your financial cockpit and you know exactly what these numbers mean. I hope you enjoyed that episode and you got something out of it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on social media.